On the 1st of December 2020, I put out a video on one of my platforms called On the Table, COVID-19 Vaccine, Should We Take It? On the table is taken from the term, put all your cards on the table, a common saying used to describe someone who is being more forthcoming and willing to tell all and put everything out there at great risk, often to the one who's putting it out. The program was designed initially to put hard-hitting cultural topics that the world by and large responds to and put them on a hypothetical table to talk about them, have people engage us with feedback, something which was once thought free in our society today. On the Table, or its preferred acronym OTT, was separated from Rig Nation in 2020 as we felt it would bring both church and world audiences together, and it did. And people responded for debate, and so we didn't want to disenfranchise our majority Christian audience on Rig Nation with something that they may not have initially subscribed to or asked us for. 2 days later, my staff received an email from NBC News asking me to do a telephone interview. It read, "Hi Tony, I hope you're well. I'm a journalist at NBC News. I'm writing a story today about Letitia Wright, and the video of yours she shared. Would you have time for a brief interview today ASAP? Or you're welcome to email a statement or comment in relation to the uproar. Thanks, Ayla Solomon." I honestly had no idea what she was talking about, as our videos get tons of shares. At first I thought she may have been referring to the End SARS piece that I did that was reshared by Letitia. I then received an avalanche of messages, first from my staff, then from others concerned for mine and my family's well-being, alerting me to the fact that my name was in every, and I mean every, newspaper in the world, and next to Letitia Wright. Papers wrongly informing people that I am an anti-vaxxer, that I stated a vaccine would put antennas in people's heads and that I was transphobic. I urge every one of you to download the Rig Nation app and to watch the video where you will clearly see the gaping disparity between my video and the asinine commentary of the mainstream media and the Twitter mob. This commentary was literally copy-pasted by lazy, uninformed, unscrupulous talking heads who failed to simply watch a video and opted for sound bites that would rattle the masses and sell papers. This piece is not a defense of what I said in that video. The video speaks for itself, and I urge anyone to go and watch the video, to which thousands now have on my app and have found the media to be dishonest at most and lazy at least. The links are in the description, and I have nothing to hide or defend myself on. I would have loved to share it on here, but unfortunately, YouTube deleted it and gave our community its first strike since our inception. It cited that we gave misleading medical advice concerning the vaccine, something we adamantly and outrightly deny. So here it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I did not speak up sooner. I'm sorry that I spent years of my life consumed with conferences and church gatherings, that I failed to be a voice sooner to a culture morally bankrupt and in grave ethical deficit. To the press, for instance, and global media, your hit job on Letitia Wright has glaringly demonstrated your rank hypocrisy. Jessica Biel, Jenny McCarthy, Jim Carrey, Charlie Sheen, Julie Bowen, Selma Blair, Kat Von D, just to name a few of the litany of names that have all raised concerns about vaccines. Jim Carrey, in a tweet, once said, "The California governor says yes to poisoning more children with mercury and aluminium in mandatory vaccines." None of these views had these actors cancelled. None of them so doggedly reported by all papers or hunted by the Twitter mob. Yet Letitia Wright has been harassed, doxxed, and virtually cancelled by those who say at political expedience and financial gain that her life matters. It's interesting that those who have not been so badly treated for not towing the orthodoxy of the mainstream talking heads still keep their cushy jobs in Hollywood. Yet you have seen fit to malign a black female actress. Two things you claim aggressively with your so-called wokeness to be zealous advocates of. You use your media platforms to aggressively televangelize your feminism and your anti-racial activism, and yet you savagely and gleefully denigrate the character of a woman whose contribution to the arts has paved the way for so many young black teens and young black women of her color who see her as an icon and a beacon of hope. You have deemed fit to sully the same one you claim to be the guardians of. Yet none of these white actors have been cancelled or treated in so harmful a way as this one has. Tear off your Black Lives Matter t-shirts now. Because if systemic privilege does exist, you who preach to us from your digital pulpits are proof positive of that privilege. And to Don Cheadle, who gave a remark on my so-called controversial video. The video, now removed by YouTube, was controversial because it dared people to question something that Don Cheadle is very much against. One day you'll see Don Cheadle taking the vaccine and urging us all to do the same. He'll be hailed as brave, and everyone who doesn't will be considered anti-science and an anti-vaxxer, and perhaps a religious, homophobic, transphobic zealot, because they dare to ask, what's in it? Don will tell you to shut up. He may even drop a Hollywood F-bomb so you know how serious he is and that he means it. The rest of us will have to answer a bigger question than do vaccines work? An even bigger one than who exactly is Don Cheadle? But how did I let my fears so badly erode my freedoms? And how did Don Cheadle, the evangelist of female empowerment, who shut down men as having temper tantrums, in a temper tantrum of his own, shut down so swiftly a female black icon? Perhaps he did it for relevance, who knows? The cannibalism of one's own for expediency is disappointing. His public denigration of his friend is neither iron nor man. And to those of you who are so quick on Twitter to prejudge a video that you never actually took the time to watch, disappointing to say the least, but common in our world today where Twitter and tweeting has replaced thinking. I encourage you, download the Rig Nation app, watch the video, or don't. It's up to you. You have the right of free speech, and so does Letitia Wright and anybody else to agree or to disagree with what they choose or do not choose to put in their bodies. And to the church, my humble encouragement, it's time to wake up. I believe we're sleeping at the wheel. Our government came out and left certain pubs, certain clinics open, and our churches were deemed non-essential. Question is, what is our essence, and have we lost it? A phone is great at playing games, listening to music, and podcasting your favorite crime series. When your ship is sinking and you're stranded in the middle of the Atlantic, you're not sitting there on the last bit of the mast, sinking beneath the horizon, wondering what your latest score is on Candy Crush. No, you're holding that phone in the air for a signal, hoping it can call for help. It's as if we remember what the phone is for when we're in a crisis. And the plane's about to crash. AirPods out, Rihanna turned off. It's time to call for ground control. Yet we're in a crisis right now, and you, church, are beating tambourines, wondering when we're going to get back into our buildings. Sin is on demand, but church is on Sunday. The greatest danger of our time is that we may be conforming everyone to church and very few to Christ. To borrow a saying from a friend of mine, we have produced stereotypes of Christianity instead of prototypes of Christ. Are we guilty of relegating justice to movements that have no righteousness, whose only aim is vengeance guised in justice? Ideologues who we have conformed to because they share one or two of our values? Have we lost our seat at the table, our birthright, and have we sold that seat for a cold Sunday sermon meal? Have we called good evil and evil good? Sad that someone like Letitia, one of us, should have no support, no pushback from our own community, of which chanted no justice, no peace only weeks ago. Sad that no one has come to champion her cause from our Christian community. Where are her Mordecais at a time like this? The sanctuary is not our only place to be a voice, and the pulpit is not where darkness is. We can no longer be silent at a time like this. We can't criticize those who are on the ground, whose feet are where our words, our preaching have sent them. It says, beautiful are the feet of those that carry the gospel, not the mouths. This gospel is supposed to have legs, not words. So to those who say, I should stay in my lane, I say never. And I say, perhaps our need for safety will be the death of us. A kingdom doesn't stay in its lane. I voiced the sentiment of Jesus who said, go into all the world, not wait for the world to come to you on a Sunday between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. And finally, to our Rig Nation audience, I say this: if you love free speech and hate the cancel culture that silences your opinion, crushes your dissent, and deletes your information because they disagree with you, download the Rig Nation app, the fastest growing conservative Christian social media app in the world. We will disagree with you, we promise you that, but we will never cancel you. Be sure to head over there now to check out the videos that our overlords deemed dangerous and our media lied about. We live in an overreactive, hyperbolic world. A world of isms, a world where if you don't agree, you are tarnished forever as an ism or a phobe. A world where sound bites are more important than truth, and those sworn to inform us are not giving us the news, they're giving us their narrative. Ideologies like collective responsibility, an ideology that prima facie sounds good until you realize that it is grooming irresponsible young children who haven't even managed their own individual lives or tidied their bedroom to somehow take responsibility for the planet. Our leaders in the World Health Organization, many of whom have failed in their own countries, are rewarded with global responsibility. I've never seen anywhere in the world the upscaling of failure work. Yet, we choose it for our world. I encourage you to subscribe here, but to download the Rig Nation app. Who knows whether we will have the same freedoms tomorrow to speak so freely as we do today. Thanks for tuning in.